anybody put it in reverse without making noises?
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
You might have noticed, but we're all the same.
Yeah, with the new ones, and then when they were electric, my dad was like, I don't want an electric car, so no offence, Vicky.
Welcome to Car School Confession, Season 2, Episode 1. I'm Kate.
I'm Francis.
And I'm Vicky.
This week, we've got another special guest, but first, what have we been up to?
Guys, I'm not okay.
Oh,
I'm not
Why?
okay.
Oh.
Bean's gone. No more Bean.
Oh.
I thought I was okay at the time. I messaged you both. I was like, it's had to go. And I'm not okay.
It didn't turn into a coffee table then?
No, it just went and it couldn't be repaired. Well, it could be repaired, but it was going to cost me $1,500 for a new filter. And then I probably needed a clutch and a gearbox quite soon, which that's really expensive. And then it got to the point where it wasn't financially viable. So if I'd have got knocked or something, or somebody else just crashed into me, my insurance company would have just written it off.
Oh, poor Bean.
It served you a long time and you've still got the memories.
Yes.
Just watch Scarlett's driving school back.
Yeah, good, yeah. But my new car, in fairness, I've got a VW up.
Whoop.
What's its name?
Bluey.
Because it's blue?
Because it's blue. And my pupils all love it. They much prefer it to my Mini, in fairness.
Because you don't have to hiya.
No, but you've got to push it down and over and back
Ah.
to go into
Reverse.
reverse.
Oh, mine's down, over and up.
Yeah, well, so yeah.
Get in a bath, you just go... plop.
Does anybody put it in reverse without making noises? But to be fair, I haven't been out that much teaching in it because we've had some bad weather and I've been a bit snowed in.
Oh, this weather.
Oh.
You've not had it though, Francis, have you?
There's been no snow in London. It snowed for like 10 minutes when it rained since. Even when Apple apps say it's snowing, Apple weather, it's not snowing, it's just raining. So I'm quite disappointed. Although what I have been up to is I went to Austria where they do snow properly. When it snows, it absolutely snows it down. Went to the top of a mountain, did the snow angel thing. Brilliant. There was like 10 foot of snow. It was like minus 20. Proper Christmas. What they do though in Austria, like over here, 1 minute of snow, everything's shut down. In Austria, they have an army, like bin lorries over here. When it's bin day, there's like an army of them going around. Over there, they have an army of like really diddy, you know, the road sweepers, but they've got snow bits on the back and a plow on the front. So they plow the snow and they drop salt and they go around all day and all night. So the roads and pavements are still fine. Why can't we do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, one little bit of snow and everything just goes to pot, doesn't it?
Literally.
Like, even if I could go out and teach in it, I probably couldn't because the road to where I needed to get to would be blocked.
Yeah.
Or somebody else would have had a crash.
Yeah, I've been off for a couple of days and it's not, the snow hasn't caused an issue. It's just turned to ice. So the main roads are fine. It's all the side roads because there's no gritters out. Our bin men haven't been. It's too dangerous. All the schools are closed. So like all people are off and they can't go to work because they've got no childcare and can't have lessons. So it's just, we're not prepared, are we, for any weather?
We are not prepared at all.
The UK is rubbish for weather.
And in lots of countries are prepared for the snow and they change their tyres on their car, don't they? So they'll get their winter tyres on or chains on their tyres, where we've just got no tread on, summer tyres, let's go. Of course I can get up that street in the snow and ice. And you can't because your tyres are rubbish. And I love tyres. I'm obsessed. When I was a kid, I had a Pirelli tyre poster on my bedroom wall. So I am so excited for today's special guest, Sophie the Tyre Lady.
Woo, woo, woo.
Woo!
Let's go.
So I first came across Sophie when she started social media for fresh drivers, and she was trying to raise awareness for learner drivers or people who've just passed and take some of that frightening experience away about going into a garage, because it's a bit daunting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And she wanted to make sure that they felt like they could go and ask questions and feel like they weren't going to be told that they were stupid or ripped off. So she started like a safe garage scheme, but specifically for new drivers. How cool is that?
Oh, that's cool.
Do you know what? I'm not a fresh driver. And when I go into a garage, I feel exactly the same. So, Sophie, bring it on.
Right, let's get Sophie. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about you, Sophie?
I do have ADHD, by the way. So if you ask me a question at all throughout this podcast and you think she's not even touching on the subject I've just asked her, just say, that's not what I asked, Soph. I asked you this because...
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, I'll be
welcome
like...
to the club.
Yeah.
You might have noticed, but we're all the same.
Yeah, I think we're all a little bit on the spectrum, aren't we? My ADHD, and I've not been out of the house for like a week, so this is the first time I'm speaking to people as well, so it's nice. So my name's Sophie Lyden. I am a tyre expert and I work at our family business, which is Westgate Tyres in Morecambe. Now, I never really wanted to be full-time in the industry. It's not what I actually wanted to do. So I wanted to be a zoologist.
Really?
Went to college, studied animal management. Then I was going to go off to do my course at Aberystwyth University because that's where I'd set out that I wanted to go and everything. And unfortunately, my mum got bowel cancer. So my end of studies at college, I told my mum and dad that I went, but I never went to college. I just sat with my mates and just didn't do anything because, I mean, I didn't want to do anything. I thought my mum was in hospital. We thought we were going to lose her. Thankfully, she's still here. She's like 12, 13 years in remission now, which is amazing. From then, I decided to go into the bar trade and I was a restaurant and bar manager of a hotel on the Prom, and then decided I wanted to go into cocktails because cocktails is one thing that I'd always done. I had a mobile cocktail business personally as well. So I went to work at Turtle Bay in Preston.
Love Turtle Bay.
Yeah,
We love a bottomless brunch.
I love Turtle Bay. But we had something called Storm Desmond, which you will have probably all got hit by as well. But we got hit by here really badly. So I basically got stuck in Preston. I couldn't get home. And then I was obviously on a 0-hour contract. Couldn't get to work the next day. So they just sacked me because that's what happens, unfortunately. And so I had a car finance payment to pay. And I was like, Dad, please can you pay my car finance? And he was like, yeah, but you have to come and work for me for a week. I was like, yeah, that's fine. And I've never left. And that was like 12 years ago now.
Oh my God.
That's so cool.
I've always been into my cars. I've always been someone, I was that typical girl racer. Obviously reevaluated my life choices when I got older. And I used to modify my car, like do all that kind of stuff. So I have always loved cars, but just never really saw a place for me to work within the trade. So then when I started learning more about tyres and like what goes into making tyres, like it's become almost my sort of my autistic obsession. So like I know like all the different facts about tyres. I could literally talk to you all day about different tyre treads, different patterns, what benefits of what and all that kind of stuff. So when I found a niche for someone within the road safety world as well to talk about tyres, that's where I've kind of just really stuck to focusing on giving this information, because everybody knows the basics and you guys will know that you can only get taught the basics when you learn to drive. Nobody really gives out this information that you need, like you need to know what tyres, you need to know all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how the Tyre Lady Fresh Drivers UK came about.
When we're talking modifying cars, are we talking like Saxo Max Power era?
Well, yeah, I'm a bit later than that. I mean, I was fully involved in the Max Power era because my dad's business set up 27 years ago, and his first part of the business was Westgate Tyres and bumpers. So he literally used to fit the bumper kits, like all the body kits. He used to fit the lights underneath the cars. He'd buy all the wheels, you know, like basically max power them up. So I was fully involved in all that. I wasn't lucky enough to be a car owner in those days, but my sister was, and she had a bright pink Puma.
Oh my God.
Underglow?
Yeah, with the spoiler on the back. We customized heart-shaped exhausts for the back of the car.
Amazing.
Oh, I love
And
this.
you know what the best bit is? The pink paint that was on the car was imported from America because it's the same pink paint that they used on the pink car in Too Fast, Too Furious.
No way.
So-
That's so cool.
Yeah, honestly, it was like my mum and dad bought the car. It was written off basically the Puma, but they rebuilt the whole car and had it all professionally done, everything. So her first car was literally a pink Puma, and it had spinners, it had
Oh my God.
everything. It was awesome. Now it's literally like a museum piece, but unfortunately we crashed it. So
Oh.
She was gutted. And then she just went to driving an Audi A3 after that. But
Oh,
our families, we've got about 12 cars, which are all collectibles. And like, we used to have a Cavalier. Mum and Dad had a Cavalier.
Yeah.
It was like, it was all lowered, wheels, everything. So Max Power Days is fully like I love Max Power Days. I'm going to go to that event actually on the 13th of July.
how sick. The reunion.
Yeah.
Fully off script and not the questions I'm supposed to ask or we're supposed to ask. But what was your first car and what's your favourite car?
My first car was a Suzuki Swift Sport. Got it.
I
got it on my 16th birthday. I had a sweet 16th birthday party. Like, I did a big thing and I got a car and all that stuff. Don't ask. I don't know why I ever did that. I didn't pass my driving test till I was 18. So my mum drove it for 2 years. The best car I have ever owned was my Audi S3. It was just, I can't put into words, the driving experience of an Audi S3 is just something else. And probably the car I would love to own, and my second favourite car would be a Porsche GT3 RS.
I knew you were going to say that as soon as you said Porsche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's probably my favourite.
Sophie, what is, like when you're talking about all your tyres and stuff and you've been in the business for a long time, what's the strangest thing that you've ever found stuck in a tyre?
A wiper motor.
A wiper motor?
Off the back of a car. It's not the motor, but do you know the rear wiper? Do you know the connection like onto your back window?
Oh, yeah, I see.
And then your wiper would connect to, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The dog waggy tail bit.
Yeah. And it was only a few weeks ago, actually, that happened.
Really?
The car wash that we have next door to us have very powerful jet washers, and they'd blown it out, not realised. And then this customer had driven along it and then literally drove next door to us to be like, I think I've got something in my tyre. And my dad was like, yeah, mate, it's your wiper.
That's good business. They blow it out and you fix it.
Yeah, exactly. Other than that, I'm trying to think of what else we've found that we've kind of been like, what the hell? We found screwdrivers. I think the best one we found was the top of a fire extinguisher, like the metal part. I don't know what it's called. And it was just wedged in someone's tyre.
Question about that then. How do you stop getting nails in your tyres? Because when I drive around all the time, especially when the people's driving, nail in the tyre, now got to pay another 10 quid to fix it. This is why I don't buy brand new tyres. Like, just buy secondhand tyres because you're going to get a nail in it.
Oh,
Look,
look at
Francis,
Sophie's
no.
face.
I know, Vicky, but you're going to get a nail in it. What's the point buying a new one?
You can't really stop getting punctures. It's one of them things. The issue is people are so careless with, you think builders and carpenters that open the back of the van and nail fall out, they probably haven't even noticed they've took a piece of wood out, not noticed. That nail then sits in the road until, unfortunately, one of us picks it up in their tyre. And with a sense of how would we stop it, it's probably down to sort of the councils and governments to sort of start cleaning the roads up more than what they probably do already, because it's down to them. It's their highways. We're just the people that kind of drive on them and unfortunately do get punctures. But
so what we're saying is you can't stop getting punctures, so there's no point buying new tyres.
What is the problem with buying second-hand tyres, Sophie?
So it's a false economy. So say you came to me and you bought a new tyre, that tyre maybe would cost, I don't know, let's say it's a 205, 55, 16. Most garages, we sort of buy them for upwards of like 20, 30 pounds for us to then resell. So then we might sell that to you for like 65, 75 pounds, whatever profit margin we work on, that's how it works. Whereas a part worn dealer usually buys their part worn tyres for say £5, £6, £7, £8, £10, and then would resell that to you for like £40, £50. So people always say that the people that sell the new tyres are the ones who make the most profit, when we don't make a lot of profit off new tyres.
Yeah.
And I say it's a false economy. That's purely because, I don't have a massive thing against part warns. What I have against them is they're not legislated correctly and they're not sold correctly. So if you came into my garage and I sold you a tyre, legally, I have to show you a label. So the label off the tyre, I have to show you, it says A for wet grip, it says B for fuel, and such and such. And if I don't show you that, I get fined £10,000.
Did not know that.
A part worn tyre dealer has to sell you a tyre that has part worn written on the side, which none of them probably ever do.
Never seen that before.
Exactly. That is a legality. That has to be on the tyre before it is sold. it has to have more than 2 millimeters of tread. You guys know that that is not a lot of difference between that and it being illegal. But they could sell you that 2 millimeters tread of tyre for £30, and you think, oh, it'll just get me through to next month. But that £30 has been wasted because it's going to go bald really quickly. They have to pressure test it to say that the tyre is fit for purpose, but they're supposed to pressure test it in front of you, the customer, which, yes, when they fit the tyre, it is technically pressure tested because it's been fitted to the wheel, but not all the time is it done. I agree with it in a sense of, say like Vicky has an Audi A3 and Kate's bought an Audi A3, and you've both sort of bought them similar times, and Vicky's got Michelin's on, but actually she doesn't like the Michelin's. She's only done 500 miles on these brand new tyres. Then says to Kate, oh, do you want to buy my Michelin tyres? Because I don't like them, I'm buying new ones. And Kate's thinking, oh, buzzing, I'm going to buy them because they've only been driven on for 500 miles. I completely agree with that in a sense. Part 1 tyres in our market, they get imported over from Germany. They're not from here. So in Germany, legally, you have to take your tyres off at 3 millimeters. It doesn't matter.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So legally have to take it off, which is why we have such a huge Part 1 market over here, because Germany literally go, here you go, buy some tyres. I'll send you a container for 15 grand. You sell them for whatever you're going to sell them for. That's kind of just, it's a very much a grey area for our trade. And I think people know us that sell brand new tyres, we get so frustrated. And it's mainly because like scrapyards, they're not legislated. You could go buy a tyre from a scrapyard. They don't have to do any of what I've just said. They just sell you a tyre.
So you don't do new and Part 1, you only sell new tyres?
I only sell new, yeah. Only new.
Oh, interesting.
Why are tyres so important? So like, we're talking about tyres, and like, but maybe a lot of people don't understand the importance of why you're doing what you're doing and the road safety message that you're trying to put out.
So tyres are so important because you think of your hand, you only have this space that touches the ground on all 4 of your tyres at any time. So these 4 spaces that are touching the floor, which are holding you, are holding your passengers, are holding your family, your special people in there. And if they have no tread, it doesn't have the correct pressure, you haven't got the correct tyre on for the weather, you're putting yourself at risk. And I always find it quite interesting when we use the hand, because then you see people and I'm like, oh my God, that's like not a lot. And if I don't have the right pressure, then you think that bit of the tyre can only do so much. The correct pressure can affect how the vehicle handles, how it is cornering. It can affect your fuel. Not having the correct tread obviously increases stopping distances and braking distances, and it only goes hand in hand with other components. So tyres should be the first thing you think about. Then after that, it's your brakes. And then most of the time people completely forget about brakes. They don't do anything with them. So you always hear scraping noises. You always see completely depleted brake pads. And then they also goes in hands with your suspension. And then it goes up from there. Obviously, your engine's obviously important. But without the tyres, the car's kind of not going anywhere, because if they're bald, you can't stop. And if they don't have the correct pressure or the flat, you can't go anywhere anyway.
So less money on car accessories and more money on tyres.
This is a silly question, but I know that some people will be thinking it. Why do Formula 1 cars have no tread and they've got the most grip, but we've got loads of tread and less grip? Why is that better?
So it's a completely different compound. So I would love to be able to, I have a racing tyre at the garage, and if you felt the difference between that and a normal tyre, you'd probably understand. So when you think about your tyre, you think of it being squidgy, like when you see the fitters fitting them, they kind of like bounce them along and, you know, like they squash and stuff. Whereas the Formula 1 tyres or DTM racing tyres, all that kind of thing, they are really hard and really stiff. So the reason they have no tread is because they have to get them so hot to be able to then stick. It always makes me laugh when people comment on my content like, my tyres are bald, they'll be able to stick better than any tyre with tread. But they can't, because basically when it burns through the canvas, they get weaker, they get thinner. Whereas your racing slicks are completely different compound, like I said, so they're harder. And also they're just racing at certain speeds to keep the heat up on the tyres, whereas we're driving on everyday roads. We're driving through rain, we're driving through, you know, we're not all going at 200 miles an hour. Well, I'd hope we weren't all going at 100 to
Francis,
No.
slow down.
We should not be exceeding 70 miles an hour on the motorway or any other speed limit. I can't really say anything, but basically, the way that they built tyres for passenger car vehicles are a specific way to make sure that we're all safe. And the tyres that are built for racing cars, Formula One cars, are completely different compounds.
And it's the weather, right? Because the tread disperses the water. So when it's wet in racing, they put treaded tyres on, which is why we always need treaded tyres.
One of our listeners, Sarah, has sent a little question for you. So off the back of what you just said there and some of the experiences you've done, she said, what is the best experience you've had because of your job?
It's hard to just name one, because my first experience, I got invited to Ascari, which is a private racing track in Spain. I was there with all of Auto Trader, Tyre Reviews. So we basically got invited, a group of us, to go and test tyres. It's amazing because we went down into this private garage, which you're not allowed to take pictures, you're not allowed to do anything, and all of these amazing cars. And it was just amazing. And we got to basically just race these cars around the tracks.
So cool.
Basically testing tyres, making sure that they could handle what these tyres said they could. And that was with a brand called GT Radio, which are now have jumped like leaps and bounds.
That's so sick. Where can we watch that?
I don't think it's filmed, but I have got one when I did it in Portimao at the International Algarve. So I did it, which I think is one of the tracks on a Formula One, actually. But I did it there as well, and I have got a video of me doing it then. So basically, the first one I did was that one at Ascari, which I'll never get that chance to do it again. It was amazing. And then the second one was in Portugal at the International Autodrome. Again, amazing. A lot of the bike races go there and stuff. So we did that again, just basically we had a skid pan and I had a BMW 330i, which we were just drifting around in circles. Sick. And then the third one that I did, I flew to the Valencia, and we did it on the Valencia circuit, and that was actually in trucks, so like wagons. We were racing wagons, and I'd been very drunk the night before, and I just ended up being a passenger that day. But I remember throwing up watermelon in my helmet. I was literally like sending me around, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh god.
So yeah, that was amazing, and I've been to the truck racing at Donington. With the same company, and we did that last year. The kids loved it. That was amazing. I've done loads, but them ones are the best. Like having been able to travel abroad and test tyres, and as a female as well, it's a real honour to be asked to go and have my opinion on tyres, because obviously it's a very much male-dominated industry.
Yeah,
that's so sick.
I don't get invited to things anymore now because I think I'm too old.
No, you're not, Sophie.
Hint if any tyre dealerships are listening and want to bring me on any events.
Pirelli, let's go.
Yeah, I know, yeah, exactly.
See, tyres don't have to be boring. They can be fun.
They are very fun. I love tyres.
Me too. No, what, you still don't love tyres, Francis? Look what you
I don't know. If I stop getting punches, maybe. It's just one of those headaches that you're like, fuck's sake. Oh, and I've got to go see Andrew at the Irish shop again. Flipping hell. Although, actually, having said that, I did go to another one, a proper shop, Madhouse Tyres, down the road in Old Kent Road. They're well good. And they recently, I said this to Vicky the other day, I recently bought my first ever set of proper brand new label on them tyres. And the guy at Madhouse was like, they're two different sizes on the same axle. And I was like, oh, Andrew, bro, what have you done?
What? See, that's not cool.
No, it's not. So he must have not been in stock of that one and then just squeezed another tyre on top of the wrong, Yeah. Didn't sort me out on that occasion.
Which again is very common, especially if people buy part one tyres. We see a lot of that. Is yours is it's a Fiat 500 Bath, isn't it? The electric one?
Not electric. Petrol. Yeah.
Oh, you've got a proper one. Yes.
Proper, yeah.
Electric cars are proper cars too, Sophie.
Right. Sorry, Vicky.
I was just laughing at the Fiat 500 bit.
I let it slide.
Oh, sorry. I got to test tyres in one of those, left-hand drive though. Honestly, yes. It was the hardest thing I've ever done driving a left-hand drive car, but the best car I've ever driven, because they're just little go-karts, aren't they? I love them.
They've guessed.
Yeah.
No, you've driven so many amazing cars. That car cannot be the best car you've ever driven, Sophie.
Well,
it can't be, and just you'll have to just say it isn't, because we're never going to hear the end of it.
It's up there in the top. I mean, my dad's been trying to buy one for ages. He really wanted an Abarth.
They're the most fun.
Yeah, he just wanted one. We toyed with getting one of the new ones, and then when they were electric, my dad was like, I don't want an electric car. So, no offense, Vicky. Electric car. He's got an electric bike, though, electric motorbike, but just doesn't want an electric car. So,
Electric motorbike?
yeah.
Does it not go wow like when you're
No,
in
I mean, I
motorbikes?
feel like it needs to have
It
fake
needs to have noise.
sounds. It just literally goes.
What's the noise? Oh.
Yeah, you need the noise.
Can you do what you did when you were a kid and you had your push bike and you put a bit of card in the back of the spokes to make a motorbike
Yeah.
noise? Is that what your dad's doing?
Yeah,
put a little bit of card in the back.
I think I might actually do that on his bike just for the crack.
That's hilarious.
He goes out and it's like.
Have you got any confessions that you want to share, Sophie?
What kind of confession? As in
A better one than I threw up in a helmet and filled it with watermelon.
I didn't know that I had ADHD and dyslexia, and only found out like later on in life. I failed my theory test 6 times, and it took me a year to pass my driving test because of this reason. And I had over 90 lessons with my driving instructor. And when I finally passed my theory test, the whole theory place clapped their hands.
Yeah, I love that.
That's great though that you kept going and didn't give up.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to pass my test, and I was getting really annoyed at my mum driving my car because I wanted to drive it and she was driving it everywhere. My driving instructor was loving life because I was just still paying him for lessons. I mean, these were the days and lessons were only 20 quid. So like, I was like, yeah, just keep going, just keep going. And I passed my test first time, but nearly failed it because I got to a junction and you always give way to the right across from you, don't you? So I was waiting to give way to this person from the right, and they like signaled me to go, and then I looked right, looked left, and then went to go, and this car came out of the junction, overtook the person that was coming out to me, and then just cut in and like nearly crashed into me. And I just sat there and I was like, have I failed? And my instructor was like, no, it's fine, love, you're fine. I was like,
Nice.
What advice would you give to somebody learning to drive then who's got ADHD?
Probably just give yourself more time. And don't be so hard on yourself, because it's weird because obviously my ADHD diagnosis only came 2-3 years ago when I started going to therapy, because life was getting so hard and I couldn't understand why I was really struggling. Then I obviously found I had ADHD, and then you look back at your life and you're like, oh my God, that's literally why I was struggling so much. I think with ADHD, you get annoyed when you can't do something, so you just give up altogether. So my advice would be, if you're just starting out learning to drive and you have got ADHD or any other kind of neurodivergence and you're finding it really difficult, then don't give up, because giving up, it gets harder to then get back into. And although it's very frustrating and so annoying that you can't always process what people are saying to you and you can't process what's on a screen in front of you, just take more time. And maybe if your friends understand your difficulties, ask them to do pop quizzes with you, like talk to you about it, because I'm a hands-on kinesthetic like learner, like that's for me, whereas you put a piece of paper in front of me, I could not give a toss, I don't want to read it. So like for me, I like it when I'm having a conversation and we're talking about stuff, and I think I process it better. So it's good to learn what your learning technique is and then do it that way.
That's really good advice, actually.
Yeah.
That is top notch, yeah.
My confession's not that great really, but still.
They were all great, but the one that we are actually going to air is not as good as the ones that got cut.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you, Sophie. That was so good.
No, you're welcome.
I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Part 1 tyres are absolutely fine, but just check the tyre numbers on the side for the sizing.
Do you know about dot numbers and stuff?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we were going to ask all this.
Right.
The actual stuff that was on the thing.
Yeah.
None of that.
No.
We got too excited.
For those people who don't know about dot numbers, what is a dot number and why is it important, Sophie?
So obviously on the side of the tyre, there's all different numbers and different information, and you can maybe go to a garage and they'd ask you what size tyre you've got. And you might look at it and think, oh my God, I have no idea. So the best way to remember it is the 3-digit number that maybe says 205. That is the width of the tyre. And then there'll be a slash. And then there'll be, so like 55, that is the profile of the tyre. So that is the side, like the height of the tyre. So that's your 55. And then you'll have, rather than another slash, it'll say either ZR or R. And after that is your rim size. So it would say like 15, 16, 17, 18, or less or more. And then after that, there's another 3 things. So it could be a 97V. Well, 97V means 97 is the load and then V is the speed rating. So it's always good to check what your vehicle is on, because if you don't have the correct speed and load rating on your vehicle, your insurance, if they knew about it, could actually void any of your insurance. And if you had a crash again, could affect it if you've not got the right tyres on the car.
Another reason to go to a proper garage.
Yeah. And then on the rest of the side of the tyre, you'll see something that says DOT, which is the Department of Transport code. And that code is the week and the year that your tyre was made. So it would say 23/24. That was made in the 23rd week of 2024. So any dot code that means that your tyre is older than 5 or 6 years is usually an indicator that those tyres need to start to be looking at getting changed, because over periods of time, because of the weather we have is so random, like we have summer one minute, then we have winter the next, and the rain and everything. Rubber, it takes a real hard toll on it, and after 5 or 6 years, the compounds and the elasticity of the tyre starts to break down, which is why you see the cracks and the perishing on the tread. So obviously, implications of the cracks and perishing is having a rapid blowout, rapid deflation, sorry, as the correct word is, or a blowout, or losing pressure but not having a puncture. It's just all different things, and it can be quite frustrating. So it's always good to change them after 5 or 6 years. If they've still got loads of tread on and they're not showing any cracks or any perishing, then you're absolutely fine. But manufacturers started to advise this as well now.
Oh.
Thanks, Sophie.
That was really useful info, actually.
Yeah, thank you, Sophie.
I didn't know half of that, so thank you so much.
Yeah, I knew part of it, and then I was like, oh.
If I want to find you, if they want to find you, where can we find you if we want to ask tyre questions and learn about what you do?
So I'm on TikTok at the Tyre Lady 7. I don't know why it's 7, but at the Tyre Lady 7. But you've just put the Tyre Lady in a pop up. I'm on Instagram as at the Tyre Lady, and I'm on Instagram as at Fresh Drivers UK. And LinkedIn is where I usually am, and I'm Sophie Lyden on LinkedIn. And if you ever need to ask any questions, you can just send an email to sophie@freshdriversuk.co.uk, and I'll be able to get back to you on there.
Prepared to get inundated by me.
I know.
I want to sort out my bath.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know. I mean, Fresh Drivers UK, people might be wondering why that, but that's what I started as doing, because we had a crash outside the garage, and me and my husband were first on scene, and we from there, that's when my husband became a firefighter, and then I started campaigning for road safety, and I saw that I was going to the road safety events, which were aimed at young drivers and stuff, which is what I set up as Fresh Drivers UK, because anyone who's just started driving maybe doesn't understand the basics of vehicle maintenance. And then that's when I started going to all these road safety events and found that no one ever spoke about vehicle defects or tyre defects, which is why the Tyre Lady sort of came to life, because I thought I need to make this fun. I need to educate people on vehicle maintenance and tyre safety, and aim it towards young drivers. And then, the Tyre Lady's kind of taken over. Everyone knows me as the Tyre Lady now, which is quite cool.
Well, what you do is amazing, Sophie. So thank you for doing it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much. You. As usual, if you want to follow us on any socials, we are on, we're everywhere. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all podcast streaming channels. And if you want to email us any questions over, it's carschoolconfessions@gmail.com. Whoop, whoop.
We out.
Thanks, guys.